Anyway, let's get to the main event of this journey through hysteria. The black and white video of Darby driving through and walking through the slums of Seattle was, I'm sure some people like that. It wasn't a promo. It was a scripted atmospheric video, and he, in his monotone voice, just says things. After you'd thrown me down the stairs, I'd be a little more pissed off. Wouldn't you? And he just wanders around these. I guess this was Seattle. I guess he's from Seattle. Maybe he lives in Seattle now. He took his camera and found some slums somewhere with graffiti on the walls and everything. But what did this tell me about what he was going to do about the people that threw him down the fucking stairs?
I think it said that no matter if you throw him down the stairs or you take his TNT title, you can't take anything away from his
slums.
No matter, even if you take those titles, you can't take his love of film away from him.
You can take the boy out of the slum, but you can't take the slum out of the boy. Okay, so now the TNT TV title is on the line. Darby Allin with Sting against Miro, Bluto, but now he's a monster. And the heel comes out, and he has no seconds. He has nobody in his corner, but the babyface does. He's got a babyface icon in his corner. And now Miro is a monster. Another brand new outfit. This time he's got gladiator shorts on. But this Miro, if this had been, because remember I never saw, what was his name before, Rusev? I never saw Rusev, right? So when I first saw Miro on this program, well, this guy's a fucking shits. He's an idiot, right? Because he's with little Pip Sabian and his virginal girlfriend. And he's wearing pink Mickey Mouse t-shirts, and they're fighting over video games, and they're doing stupid, scripted, funny comedy sketches. And I'm like, well, this is a fucking moron. Now he's a monster. Now he comes out. Of course, it's too late. The old saying, better late than never. Sometimes never is better, because why? At this point, it makes no difference, except now the poor baby faces have to get thrown around like sacks of shit from this monster. It's too late for him to get over because everybody's already seen him playing the games and playing kissy face with little Pip and wearing his pink slippers or whatever. But he comes out as a monster. He jumps Darby Allin. He kicks the shit out of him. He takes him out on the floor. He bounces him off the floor, bounces him off the guardrail. Sting is standing there watching this. And then I thought it was a jump start and a ding-ding, and the match had started. That's when they went to the floor and just stayed there. The announcers, one of them, said, well, the match hasn't even started yet. And then I'm like, God damn. So Sting is standing there watching this guy jump Darby from behind her when he was coming through the ropes before the bell, beating the piss out of him. And Sting's just standing there watching it. And it's not even the match. The match is not even going on. With friends like that, who needs enemas? What the fuck? It buried Sting. Sting was coughing dirt out of his mouth this whole time. Miro tossed Darby into the crowd and went after him. Sting never moved. He never made an effort to do it. Then at one point, Miro walked towards Sting, and Sting bowed up and stayed right in the same place, and Miro turned around and kept kicking the shit out of Darby. What the fuck are they doing? Then, after they said the match never started, which at that point was news to Darby Allin because he'd had the shit kicked out of him, Darby rolls in the ring, and the referee is now asking him again, like they did 2 or 3 weeks ago, if he can go. Do you want to go on? And he says yes, while he can still hardly move. I explained it then. I will explain it briefly again now. That's fucking stupid, and here's why. They're copying the angle where the babyface, against all odds, wants to come back, wants to triumph, wants to engage in his fight, wants to get his title opportunity. I sound like Vince now, wants to get his title shot, his opportunity at the title. And he says, yes, ring the bell, I want to continue. It doesn't work when it's the babyface champion that has been jacked around by the fucking heel challenger. That makes no sense. Asking if he wants to go. No, I don't want to go on. The fucking guy jumped me. I'm the champion. Fuck him. Disqualify him. I'm leaving. That would be if the logical thing hadn't happened yet and Sting hadn't gone over there and gotten a fight with Miro because, hey, fuck you. It's my boy here and you fucked him around. The babyface wants to fight when he's got something to gain or when he hasn't been just destroyed physically, if he's just been jumped and beat up and somebody comes and makes a save and he fucking throws his shit off and down and says, all right, come on, we're going to get started. And now they lock up, boom, 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 and hit. That's fine. But not in this instance. It makes no sense. And then when the referee does ring the bell, start the match, and Miro gets back on him, starts kicking the shit out of him more. But then Darby Allin makes a comeback and actually hit a real-looking dive. Did you see the dive? He just caromed off of him like a fucking billiard ball. That looked real. And then took a fucking German suplex on the floor as a break spot. So they go to the break. Apparently, during the break, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page come from where they're sitting in the stands and attack Sting. And all through the break, while Miro is getting heat on Darby Allin, all the way through, Sky and Page had attacked Sting and then left. And when we come back from the break, Sting is okay. He's back standing on his feet and he's watching the match. Am I misrepresenting anything here?
No, not yet. Not so far.
Okay. So now the heat on Darby Allin continues. It's the best Miro has ever looked. But at what point does it bury the Bulgarian Bluto that he can't beat a guy 100 pounds smaller than him that he jumped before the bell and has cheated and beat on ever since? And still, then finally, forever, Darby Allin gets a sleeper on Miro on the floor with the referee standing there not counting, just watching. They're out on the floor. Count! And then Darby gets run into the fucking wall, and it went longer, and Miro started tossing him around fairly recklessly, which is not going to prolong this idiot's career any, because we know he's already going to cripple himself. And finally, Darby rolls over selling and looks at Sting, and Sting looks at Darby, and Sting gave Darby a fist bump. What the sum total of support that this fucking guy has gotten from Sting while he's been maligned and fucked with is a fist bump. Thanks, Dad. And then Darby Allin makes a comeback and hits multiple false finishes. After this guy 100 pounds bigger than him has been kicking his shit out of him for 20 minutes. And then he makes his comeback, multiple false finishes. And then suddenly Miro gets the camel clutch and leans all the way back on it. Darby Allin didn't tap. The referee stopped it. Miro would not let go of the hold. He was still cinching it up to where the announcers were like, come on, let go. And is Sting standing there watching? Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page come out and jump on him again. And they knock him down again. And then the Dork Order runs out and is running after Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. And my DVR froze up because they were so close to going off the air without even getting a finish in that it was that quick. And thanks for coming, Sting. They have managed to make Sting look like a spare prick at the wedding. Sting is useless. Sting is tits on a boar hog. They have decimated Sting. Sting! It's Sting! From now on, it's going to be, it's Sting. That takes talent. They have taken a guy who survived all kinds of screwy booking for years in TNA and WCW and was still an icon. And they have made him look like the next best thing to a shit-faced drunk. It's just standing around watching his guy get humiliated, fucked around, beat up, and underneath guys come and attack him and leave at will, and he gets no response whatsoever and does nothing about it and doesn't even seem upset. What'd you think of that main event there, young Brian?
Well, it did go on a bit long, and the Sting stuff was ridiculous, but you kind of touched on my big takeaway. I always told you that I thought Miro or Rusev had a lot of potential. And if you had brought him to AEW and used him like this,
yeah,
I think it would have made sense. This is exactly the kind of potential I was talking about, what he showed here. The last 5 months or more, whatever it was, of him as the best man, which is still on the screen, but the ring announcer doesn't call him the best man. Now he's just Miro. No sign of Kip or Penelope anywhere here.
Well, no, he hospitalized Pip. Remember, he slammed the door on his arm.
Oh, that's right.
His friend. He just beat him up for no reason and fucking hospitalized him.
But man, if you had used this guy out of the gate like this, he'd mean something.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder why they didn't, if this is where they were going to end up anyway.
But because they didn't know this was where they were going to end up, because they thought the idea that they had, that they ran with for the past 6 months, was brilliant until they saw that it was fucking rotten and that nobody gave a shit about this guy and he was a fucking punchline and a joke to everybody. And then when he threatened to come all over me on Twitter, for heaven's sake, people were laughing at him. And somebody finally said, you ought to make that guy a big monster, because a big, dull-witted fucking muscle guy that speaks in an accent in broken English, is he going to be a best man at a wedding or a fucking monster? But no, they didn't mean to do this. This is just where they ended up after they exhausted all the other stupid ideas they had.
In terms of cars, I was thinking about this from earlier. FTR drove up, I remember that, and then their car was stolen.
Yeah.
They
had that cool vintage kind of truck thing that the first week the baby faces took away from them, and then we've never seen it again.
Cody drove up in a truck once too, remember? Because then all of a sudden we had a camera of him in the car. I don't know how the camera got there.
Yeah, and you mentioned Trent's mom with the minivan.
She's driven up several times there.
Yeah.
The Elite were in their trailer, and Moxley honked the horn and crashed into them. I don't know if that counts. Seems like the same thing just keeps happening over and over, but with different people.
Maybe it's the car bumpers. Now we know it's the car bumpers. They're trying to make sure that they need more car bumpers. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. That's what they need. Some rubber baby buggy bumpers. Anyway, so that, I mean, this show was amateurish and silly and nonsensical. And then Sunday, we're going to watch the WWE program, and it will be professional and nonsensical. And the guys will be well-trained athletes, but the shit will not be in any way convincing because they're going to gimmick it up with all the 3-ways and the multiple titles. So it'll be a professionally broadcast shit show instead of the Ted Mack amateur hour here. Otherwise, I don't know there'll be a lot of difference. And I'm looking forward to seeing Cesaro and Reigns.
Any thoughts on the number this week? AEW did 936,000.
Oh, I forgot. That's another thing I predicted. We could go back and play the tape, but you can hear it on YouTube or whatever, folks. So what did I say? I said when they did the big first week unopposed, 1.2 million. And with the first week unopposed, they also had was that Shaquille or Tyson? That was Tyson.
Tyson.
What? Yes. And then they dropped the next week to under 1 million. And then we said, well, but they're hot shot in War Games, Blood and Guts, so that'll be back up over 1 million. And then they'll drop below it until the next time they can get Tyson or Shaq or a huge gimmick match. And then the more they start hot shotting to get up over 1 million, the more often they do that, then that will lose its effect, and that won't get them over 1 million anymore. So they were at 1.2, then they dropped, then they went back under 1 million, then they did the hot shot with the Blood and Guts, and they went to a little over 1 million, and then they dropped back underneath it. And so far, everything's doing exactly what we said it was going to do. Because there's still a ceiling of the amount of people that will watch silly, phony wrestling done by mostly children. And they've reached it.